long as you in, as long as you in that little V shape right there.
Yeah. Ready.
Brother.
What's going on out there, everybody? Hope everybody's staying empowered and staying motivated, man. I had a distinct honor of sitting with the pastor himself, Governor of Georgia, Pastor.
What's up, brother? You already know. I love it. How you feeling?
Good, man. I'm glad to be able to talk to you, man. It's the 25th anniversary.
Yeah.
When you've been making music, man.
Yeah.
I've been listening to your music for as long as I can remember.
That's right.
Some questions I want to ask you, man.
It's all good. I'm looking forward to it.
So, man, you know, I want to start, man, because you got to start at the beginning of these stories, man. I know that, you know, you've spoken about it, that, you know, your father, he's still here, of course, in spirit, and he's still here to guide you, man.
Yeah.
But I want to know, you know, you got the name from him. Could you kind of tell us a little bit about what it was like growing up in his household and what you managed to get from growing up being under him?
For sure, man. You know, with my dad being a pastor, man, my upbringing was so beautiful because he wasn't a pastor all his life. You feel me, man? So I really had a chance to experience the regular side, and then I experienced him as the pastor, which was so dope, man. One thing about him, man, he was a real person. You know what I mean? Having the chance to observe him and watch him speak in the pulpit and still represent everything he said at home. He was serious about this, man. And even with building up the church, man, being able to see him take his dream and fulfill it to a 30-year ministry, it just gave me a lot of motivation and encouragement about pursuing the music industry how I did, helping me build mine, man. You know what I mean? So I really appreciate everything you did for me.
Man, already. And I was going to ask you, man, you know, you listen to your music, it's always tones of religion and God.
Yeah.
Songs like When He Comes.
Yeah.
You know, how important has God been in your career?
Man, you know what? The first song I made going to a professional studio was No More Playing GA. If that ain't God,
right?
You know what I mean,
Channeled it, man.
I made it. You know, a lot of guys can't say that, man. That their first song was the one that did it. You feel me, man? So that was a blessing in itself, man. I always wanted to. It's so crazy, man. Even down to the name Pastor Troy. One of my friends called me Pastor Troy while I was rapping in college, and I asked him, man, why you call me that? He was like, man, it sounds like you a Southern preacher when you be rapping. I said, man, that's a tight name. I gotta ask my daddy, can I use it? Yeah. So it ended up being real dope, man. You know what I mean? Like I say, I ain't choose the name chose me.
Respect. Man, I don't even know if I've heard that story about how you got your name.
Yeah, man, that's real.
Now, let me ask you, bro, you know, we knew you grew up on the south side in College Park. You know, what do you remember about life in College Park before now?
Man, you know what, man? The College Park that I grew up in was a successful, middle-class, black area. You know what I mean, man? I was just telling somebody the other day, man, playing baseball at Old National. We used to have 8, 9 teams per age group. You feel me, man? That's how we had 8, 9, 10 people per age group. Now, they can barely put a team together per age group. You know what I mean? So, I don't know, it's just confusing time. You know what I mean, man? Gentrification, all that stuff, do a lot to it, but we still got to get back into the parks, and stuff like that, man. So, with those friendships, even just playing sports, period, help you out a lot when it comes down to this game. You know what I mean? Just showing you how to
be a team
how to work how to work together, man. You know what I mean? It's just so many things that I apply from baseball. That was my sport of choice, man. I gotta think of my pitch every day. You know what I mean?
You ain't never thought about sponsoring a baseball team, Troy?
Man, I'm always down. I do a lot of sponsoring, man, with the little boys and stuff around the city, from football to. I ain't got me a baseball team though. I gotta find a baseball team, but a lot of the football teams do the thing. You're a baseball team out there and you're doing your thing, man. Reach out to Pastor Troy. We got some sponsorship dollars for you.
Hey, Troy, I gotta ask you, man. I'm gonna jump ahead a little bit, man. You know, recently we've been seeing the more civic side of you, man. Like you've been speaking out against gun violence and things in the community. How does that feel now that you as an OG talking about that?
Man, 25 years in this game, man, with some people paying attention and respecting what I say, it's what you're supposed to. You know what I mean, man? That come with the territory. You know what I mean? What am I supposed to say 25 years later? Still be talking the same stuff? You ain't growing, you're dying. You feel me, man? I'm growing. And I want everybody else to grow too.
Respect. Man, you taking that stand, sitting with the people up front, man, politicians about it. That ain't something you see the OGs do. So
man, dog, man, it's so dope. But what's so dope is that they respect the influence of an artist like myself. They know my impact around the city, man. So a lot of those things, man, they invite me to. It's so crazy, man. I just saw Andre Dickens the other day at the SWAC Championship. As soon as I walk in and say, "What's up, Andre?" he asked me, "Where the belt at?"
Oh, man, you can't be walking around without it.
That's tight, man. So when it resonates like that, man, I say, man, I think we did this thing right.
You did it right, bro.
Okay.
Somebody at the gate had a heavyweight.
Oh man, it's 1 million belts in that damn stadium, man. Everybody carries belts at the game.
Hey man, you started something, man.
That's tight, man. That's tight.
Troy, let me ask you this, man. You know, when you was in high school, you talked about the impact of baseball and MJG, bro. I want to ask you, man, you really known as the major Atlanta gangster rapper. When you were coming up, it was a couple. It was like Hard Boys, Ghetto Mafia, a couple on like, did they have an influence at all on
You know what? Everybody did in some kind of way, but when I decided to turn it up, I really turned everybody else off. You know what I mean, man? It's hard to listen to a whole bunch of music when you're trying to create music because it's almost inevitable to take something from it. You know what I mean, man? So I really kind of just turned everybody off, man, just give them their respect. But we rocked out, man. You know what I mean, man? Them were some pivotal years for me, man. 8-Ball MJG, I remember listening to them in my earphones upstairs in my room with my headsets on. Well, not with the headsets on, bumping it till my daddy started hitting the broom up on it. Now we got to put the headphones on, you know what I mean? But for us to be on tour together, sharing dressing rooms by their choice, man, you know what I mean, man? We sharing dressing room with Troy. He in our room with us. Just to have that kind of friendship. Last night I was hanging out with Trick Daddy. Me and them, man, I'm talking about just to have that kind of respect from people that I revere. It's just a beautiful thing.
It definitely is, and I gotta ask you, man, you know, when you think about 8-Ball and MJG, you think about their storytelling. That's something I'm gonna ask you about. What kind of stories, what songs by them kind of influenced how you wrote the story?
I love Mr. Big.
Man, that's
Mr. Big was crazy. You know what I mean, man? It was crazy. It was the first time that I really felt like I saw a song. You feel me, man? I saw that shit from and that was just something to channel, man. That was just always something for me to say, I want to do that. And I think I did a good job when I came with that Ain't No Sunshine.
Man, Ain't No Sunshine, Above the Law. I'm going to ask you about all that.
All good.
I got to ask you, Troy, what made you choose Payne College, man, of all schools?
Man, you know what? I had went to the Art Institute of Atlanta. I was doing computer animation. I had a baseball scholarship offer from Payne, but I chose the Art Institute over it. Man, while I was at Art Institute, probably at midterm, motherfucker stole my car with my portfolio.
Man, that's what you're talking about. So that was when we was at the Art Institute.
Yeah, that was at Art Institute, man. So when they stole my portfolio, man, I remember going to tell the teacher, like, telling the professor, like, they stole my car last night. I don't have my midterm assignment. Charlie was like, I hate that for you, but this college, this ain't. I hate it for you. And that shit just, that was the beginning of the disappointment and fury that you heard when I finally dropped, man. You know what I mean? I was just so frustrated with the situation, man. Payne College, so I went on, took the baseball scholarship, went there, and I really wasn't impressed with
facilities.
But yeah, man, baseball at HBCU, man, it wasn't what I expected. My high school team was better. You know what I mean, man? So I was like, this ain't it either. You know what I mean? And from there, man, I took that pen. Here we are. Bro, man, in the studio was the first place I raised my voice. I ain't never had to raise my voice about nothing. You know what I mean? For what? You know what I mean? But to go in there, man, and scream about this stuff that I have been experiencing, going through, man, it was such a relief. And I think it resonated with some other people too.
So many generations, bro. Generations too, and past.
For real.
Man, I gotta ask you, you know, we all went to Fort Valley, and our partners from the AUG used to tell us about the hoods in the AUG and how it go down up there. Like, man, how did the Augusta scene in general shape your early sound?
You know what, man? So being at the college, I had hooked up with a lot of dudes that were local in the city. And when we started hanging out, man, they started taking me around Augusta to the different parks and stuff like that. So here in Atlanta, I was from College Park. College Park really ain't the west side of downtown Atlanta, you know what I mean? But in Augusta, what Payne College was and what those guys introduced me to was downtown Augusta. It was the city, you know what I mean, man? So to be acclimated with that and see it go down, I knew it, but I hadn't really experienced it. So to get my feet wet and see it firsthand, I knew I was gonna make some music and get the hell off around this
Yeah, man, you had to, man. You had to.
For sure.
Man, Troy, I was reading the Augusta Chronicle article. Man, I got to mention Above the Law.
Yeah.
Above the Law, first off, man. That's one of the first songs really dealing with police brutality.
That's
the way
real.
it did from
That's
the
real.
South. And I got to ask you, man, when they talk about the Terrell Davis murder, they mentioned the neighborhood of Apple Valley.
Yep.
You know, what do you remember about the case, the neighborhood, and what inspired the song?
Man, I remember hearing it on the news, hearing the case, and hearing the people being upset about it. You know what I mean? The whole city of Augusta was upside down about them killing this boy. And me being down there, man, I was more like I was a reporter. I was out there on like field duty. That's how I look back at it now, man. You know what I mean? I remember writing songs like, what song was it? I'm about to move to Mars.
Man, that's my favorite. Oh,
I'm about to move to Mars.
That's my favorite song by you, man.
I'm about to move to Mars was a Friday, first of the month, downtown in the trap, where the whole rap, the whole first verse I wrote sitting down, just looking, reporting from it. The first lines I put on that paper was,
now
who the fuck wouldn't be fucked up? You feel? And clientele can foretell your life. A nigga beats his wife. Damn, it's hurting me. But I can't help a man. Way this grind be working me. Dodging the narcs. In the midst of writing it, the police pull up. What y'all doing? I'm just sitting out here with a pen and paper. I got to pull out my ID, show them, and all this stuff. So that's the cops. Cops pulling up. They fuck with us because we on our corner. Can't tell them what I wanna. If I do, I'm a goner. They leave, but they just ride the block. I serve my rocks, bump them out before they necks stop. Fake ass cop. Why the fuck these motherfuckers with me? Motherfucker, I'm the one that pay your salary. Don't get fired. Fiends making me so tired, telling their stories. They spend money, so I let them bore me. I know you should have been. I know you should have. I know you should have been. No,
I know you could have been.
I know you could have been. All I say you should have been. Fuck reminiscing, man, how many hits you getting? So I can hit the house, try to smoke an ounce, let the weed protect me from everything I see in this fucked up reality.
Thank you for shooting the video for that too, man.
That
video, I watched it, I was like, man.
I'm gonna go back and go get some of them, man. Some of them videos, man, because there's a lot of stuff for me to show that they need to see from like Old Father. I think I can come up with a dope video for Old Father.
And I gotta ask you, because you said in the interview you was gonna do a Rhonda video. Is that still happening, man?
Actually, Rhonda, it's gonna be a movie. It's a whole little gangster movie, man, to the Rhonda joint, man. It's a beautiful story. It's a story, man.
I'm trying to stay in character, man. But damn, man. So
that's tight.
Man, I gotta ask you, Troy. You know, people don't give you the credit for it, but you pioneered the Southeast route.
Yeah.
You pioneered it, man.
Yeah.
People did it after you. What made you decide to say, I'm not gonna worry about New York, I'm gonna hit the whole Southeast?
Man, you know what? Signing with Universal, you know, with the majors and stuff like that, I just didn't like where they were sending me. You know what I mean? Like, they were trying to get me to convince some people to like me, but there's some people that damn love me.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I was like, man, I'm not too worried about my presence in Nebraska. I'm way more concerned with what I'm doing in Georgia and South Carolina and Alabama, man. It was just a decision that I made, man, that really ended up being the best route for me. Yeah.
So I gotta ask you, man, you know, you were also one of the first people to say, I'm not just gonna rep Atlanta, I'm gonna rep the whole state of Georgia.
For sure.
What made you say, I'm gonna pivot from doing just Atlanta, the whole state?
So with me being from Augusta, you know, doing the music from Augusta and being from Atlanta, I didn't want either one of them to feel slighted. You feel me, man? So I said, you know what, we just gonna rep the whole state, man. Down South Georgia boys. Atlanta, Augusta, Valdosta, the whole 9. And it was just such a smart decision, man, because everybody got with it. From down South Georgia boys, down South Georgia girls, we can go anywhere in the state and get some love.
Man, y'all were down there with us, man, and I ain't mean to deviate.
Yeah.
Y'all were down there with us in Fort Valley, man, and I remember I was pledging at the time, but I was like, bro, I really want to get in trouble and go see this man perform. Ain't no other celebrity just coming down here and perform and get that money, but you
That's tight, man. That's tight, man. I love it, man. You know what I mean? It resonated to a lot of people, man. Atlanta had enough people just saying Atlanta. You know what I mean, man? I was just like, all right, we're going to go a different route, man. Let's rep Georgia.
For sure. And thank you for doing that,
I appreciate it, man. Appreciate it.
Man, let me ask you, man. You know, I really have always wanted to ask this, man. You talk a lot. I think you said in one interview about going up to the tunnel and feeling like we weren't getting that respect that we need.
Yeah.
Did that inspire you to make its own down here, or just
Man, you know what?
anything?
All that stuff was already produced. But when I went up to the tunnel, man, that's when it was a real civil war with the South in New York. They just thought we was the dumbest rappers. They ain't had no content.
Yeah.
And I agree, a lot of the shit was some bullshit. I'm with you. But when I went up to the tunnel that night, man, I'll never forget. I ordered a bottle of champagne just so I had me a weapon in that motherfucker. I gotta hit somebody with this motherfucker. I bought me a bottle. Yeah, man. But when I was in there, man, I rapped No More Playing GA and I rapped Vice Versa. They kind of just looked around, you know, they just kind of just looking at me with their mugs on and shit. When I came off the stage, man, and like walked back to my area, the niggas started dapping me up.
Dang.
You know what I mean, man? And I know that this was early in the acceptance of what we had to offer down here, man. I know I made New York respect the South music, man. Oh, man, this motherfucker here, he rapping. You feel me, man? He rapping. So that was real dope, man. You know, from New York to the whole triad, a lot of students and stuff coming down here from up north, and they just fell in love with it, man, and started taking it back home and stuff like that, man. It's just real dope to see where it's at now. I remember going to New York, man. They not playing one song from the South. You feel me, man? We in the club, they not playing anything. And then going up there probably early 2000s, mid 2000s, I get out the damn car at the club, man, they got Waka Flocka knocking the walls down in the club, man. I really felt accomplished.
And he shouted you out, man, and a couple others just to talk about how y'all fought for Atlanta's respect, Georgia respect.
We got it, man. We got it. You know what I mean? A lot of people, a kick though, it's easy to run in after the door open. The baddest motherfucker who kicked that door.
Right.
You feel me, man?
Right.
You don't know what's on the other side of that door. You know what I mean, man? But I kicked it. And everybody ran in, man. We still running through that same damn door.
Right.
Dope.
So let me ask you, man, you know, you went on tour, Cash Money, you been on tour with the Rough Riders, and I tell my northern friends this all the time. I say, man, I declare war is like, it's dark and as hell is hot.
Yeah.
How do you feel about your first album? You met DMX.
Yeah.
How was that?
Man, DMX loved me. I love him too. It was just the hunger, man, the hunger. You know what I mean? One thing that I never did, man, to this day, I still don't rap with money in my pocket. You feel me, man? I'm talking about I empty my pockets completely. It's just a place that I want to go to. You know what I mean, man? When I'm writing and stuff like that, man. So just to be able to be honest and relatable to more people than yourself. You know what I mean, man? I like being able to, for anybody to listen to that shit and relate. You know what I mean, man? I rap about things that I haven't necessarily experienced, but some people, a lot of people have. I never grew up in a single parent household and stuff like that. But I know the scenario of it, and I'm able to reiterate it through the music, man. So my thing, man, just trying to be a vessel, man, for everybody. You know what I mean, man? Make everybody feel a part of this time.
Man,
And that's what it said.
I'm gonna ask you about 05 in a minute, but I gotta ask you this too, man. Mad Society, what's the significance of it, and how did that begin your career as a businessman?
Man, I came up with the moniker for MADD. My all did this. You know what I mean, man? Like everything that I had, it was really all or nothing. You know, 50 Cent say get rich or die trying. That's how this approach was. My all did this, man. Everything I had, I put all my faith in it. And when you do that, and you seriously do that, you're gonna be successful. You're gonna lose. When you're that invested,
There's no way you can lose.
you can't lose, man. You know what I mean, man? So if you're gonna commit to whatever you do. You know?
Sure, after the job, I declare war. We know how it set the city, set the state on fire, but I want to ask you, you know, on 05, you talked about how many people from the pen was writing you. Like, what was that feeling like, knowing that you were vessel for so many people with that out?
Man, it was just so dope, man. I was so proud. I was so proud that people respect you. You know what I mean? It was just so humbling to hear people quote my thoughts word for word. You feel me, man? Live and die by it. Like, I believe this. I'm down for this. You know what I mean, man? So to have that in your career is special, man. It's something always to gain, something always to respect and treat with respect. You feel me?
Troy, I gotta ask you about this conflict, you know, because people love to focus on the conflicts you had. I don't. But there's one in particular I was going to ask you about, man. You know, bring y'all.
Yeah.
Hey, man, do you look back on that conflict in that time, and do you have any regrets, or do you just feel like that was what needed to be said at the time?
Man, you know what? It was I was so young in it. We wanted the attention from everybody. You feel me, man? We wanted the people to know that we wasn't no punks down here, too. You know what I mean, man? So it wasn't nothing for me to get out there and put the music out there, man. We wanted people to know that we real down here in Georgia, too. You know what I mean? Don't disrespect us. Don't think that we slow to anything, man. You know, I loved it, man. I loved it. Because it let people know that this is who we are. You know what I mean? From the foundation. You feel me? Yeah, man. We were able to roll from there.
Troy, a lot of people talk about Face Off, of course, because that's one of the albums, you know, with you and Universal.
Yeah.
In fact, I'll stay with that. We know the inspiration behind the title, but when Face Off came off, you know, what was the response like? And do you remember, did you feel accomplished at the time getting the album on a major?
You know what? The album was dope. And there's some of the stuff that went into me making the decision to come back and just really focus on the Southeast. Because as dope as the album was, I was so early in the game for putting the South on, the label didn't really know what to do with it. Yeah, they didn't even know what they had. They didn't even know they had a motherfucker that got this shit on click clack. There's a lot of miles between Atlanta and New York.
Right.
You feel me, man? So I didn't blame them. I knew they didn't understand. I knew how far they were, you know what I mean? I never just was like, of course I used to be disappointed with them not knowing, but it never stopped me from working and doing my own thing. And I always kept pushing. I always worked like an independent, even when I was with the major, because a lot of stuff they just didn't understand.
I'll ask you this then, Troy, because you had so much success. You got bootleg on a crazy level.
Oh, yeah.
What made you even say, you know what, I'm going to give Universal a shot? Because you had some momentum in the tournament.
Man, you know what? A lot of that shit went into it because they were killing us with them bootlegs and stuff like that, man. I'm probably the first platinum bootleg artist. You feel me, man? Yeah, man, you know what I mean? But
I had one.
I had a couple of them.
I had Face Off, bro. I
had Face Off 2 on there. I got a couple.
They got a paper cover.
I got a couple.
I bought the real one eventually.
Yeah. It's just dope, man, because
everybody had one, bro.
You had to be hot to have a bootleg.
Universal Soldier was the first album I physically went and purchased.
Really?
Yeah, that was the one. That was the one.
You wouldn't have bought that. That's good, man. That's dope.
Thank you for mentioning. I'm about to get on that too.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, you good. That's it.
With that being said, man, like I even embrace that as well because it's almost like I like it. That I like the fact to say I ain't never been platinum, I ain't never been gold. I like that.
Street
Because when you see that influence that I have, I know a bunch of motherfuckers that's platinum and gold. Can't do what I do.
Right.
You feel me, man? Like to get on stage. I like to get on stage, perform, and tell them, you next.
Who want to do that, man?
Yeah.
You play 5 songs, you don't even want to be performed no more, man.
Man, I'm talking about crowd energy is gone.
Right.
I'm tired. I know the crowd tired. And I pass the mic. There you
Your
go.
turn,
They
brother.
waiting on you.
They out of breath.
You know what I mean?
Man, the crowd,
sit down on
ready
you.
to go now, you know what I'm saying?
The people sit down on you.
Man, Troy, let me ask you about Universal Soldiers, man. The inspiration behind the title, but also, you know, that's your most commercially successful album. How did you feel about the success of the album?
You know, it was cool. You know, it had the Ari Cutting. We had did the single for the soundtrack and all that stuff. It was straight, but I was still ready to get back to the independence and stuff like that, man. There's a lot of stuff that go on when you're dealing with the major A&Rs and stuff like that, man. They want you to be as global, successful, and commercially as popular as can be when everything is not one size fits all.
Right.
You feel me, man? Some of these situations need to be addressed differently. Yeah, man, differently, man. So that was the thing, man. It was like a whole system when you with the major. You're gonna do this interview. They're gonna see you on here. They're gonna do this. But some of that stuff, man, we needed to do a little bit different. So just to get back to my independence, still having that success, and still having those kind of relationships. My whole time with the majors, I was rounding up, getting my Rolodex together. You know what I mean? That's why I'm still able to reach out to the Breakfast Club and do all those things, man. I still have strong relationships with a lot of the publicists and stuff that used to come down to the press junkets and stuff like that with me, man. So being independent, man, you know, I call myself major independent.
I can see that.
Yeah, man. As you can see, man, I'm a brand ambassador for the Falcons.
Man, you gotta see
We in
it.
here kicking it, man. We got a whole section of Dirty Bird Nest. Probably 1,000 people behind me every game. Rocking this motherfucker to the fullest.
And who would think that No More Playing GA video would be shot?
Yeah, man. A gangster song.
Shot in there.
Yeah, man. It's dope.
Man, so let me ask you, man. You know, your albums came out when a lot of people were in war and deployed.
Yeah.
How have people who have been enrolled or in the military, have they reached out to you about how
Oh,
the songs
man.
out there?
I hugged, cried, everything with these soldiers, man, because they make me feel so good. And just to hear people really feel like your music helped get them home,
Man,
that's amazing, man. And I'm talking about, I hear it often. Troy, man, your music, man, you got me home. Bro, we were getting invaded by the Iraqis, man. We were down in the bunker. All we had was your music to bring us out.
oh man.
You know what I mean? To hear these stories, man, I'm talking about when you hear the passion in them telling you, you know it's real. And you know, it ain't no honor to me. All glory to God.
So let me deviate a little bit, man. You know, you were one of the first people to embrace the Memphis producers that bring to Atlanta, collaborate with them, introduce them to other artists.
For sure.
What made you decide to go to Memphis rapping or producers like Squeaky?
Man, I love the Memphis sound, man. I love the Memphis sound off the rip. Then when I was able to meet these guys, man, let me tell y'all this. Memphis been crunk.
Yeah, they have.
They used to say crunk.
Oh, we did.
They used to use that terminology. The people who brought that stuff around here, they know. You know what I mean? That whole sound, they know. You know what I mean, man? So that's why I always pay homage to them. You know what I mean, man? You know, I ain't never really embraced punk, me personally. You know what I mean? A lot of niggas say they throw my music in that category, it's punk, but my music way more thought-provoking than just punk. You know what I mean? You might get punked off for it, but you gotta listen to me. You feel me, man? Like No More Playing GA verse. That last verse on No More Playing GA is prolific.
Man.
But a lot of them be so crunk
They not
that they
listening to
never
what
heard
you
what I
saying.
said. Yeah, man.
You owe them bases, making you take this serious.
Wasn't for the struggle, cause you would not be here. In the midst, I'm free about 3 times a day. What I'm doing now, here, nigga, this why I stay. That happened. The police asked me that. Where your ID? Pull out my ID and it said Atlanta, Georgia. What are you doing down here? That's why I stay. I'm down here in college. I'm here.
So Troy, I wanted to ask you, man, and it's been mentioned, were there 2 versions of Help Me Rhonda, man?
You know what? It was an original version, and when we got it to the majors, they changed the beat a little bit with the interpolation. They didn't want it to sound just like that was like All My Children intro.
Yeah,
Young and the Restless. That was their Young and the Restless intro. So yeah, they did a little funny stuff with it with the majors. You know how it goes in, but I ain't never embraced that one. I always run with the first one, the original one when he dropped, man. Yeah. So I love my boy Big Toon.
Man, shout out to Big Tone.
Yeah.
Troy, let me ask you, man, you know, when your album first came out, man, it was stores like Big On that carried it, man. You've already spoken well about them, but you know, what's your thoughts on them, their label, and where they are now?
Oh man, you know, on Camp, they helped me out a lot. I think they was iron sharper than iron. You know what I mean, man? With them having a record store and their presence in the mixtape game and stuff like that, it was pivotal at that time to be a part of that, to be on those songs. They had 5 or 6 stores, everything rolling around the city, man. So it was a dope, man. We really helped each other out. We really helped each other out. From being on all these songs, man, it probably ain't a Camp era. It's probably not an Camp album during that time that I ain't
didn't have
featured
you on it.
Yeah, for sure.
Let me ask you, man, you know, you had DSGB TV. I think you got a new TV app now, too.
I got Lit Street TV. Yeah.
Man, can you tell us a little bit about what you're doing with film now?
Man, you know what? Film, man, it's just a natural transition, especially when the whole world has become it's just eyes on everything, man. You know what I mean? It's almost like you just can't even hear music. You got to see music now. You know what I mean, man? So it was just a natural transition to keep on coming with the film, stuff like that, man. A lot of artists know that that's kind of like the second step after you almost reach everything you could with the music. Even with me now, man, I look at the film as another outlet for me to be able to still distribute the music. Well, we used to do movies with a soundtrack. Now we do soundtracks with a movie. You know what I mean, man? So it all still works.
Tell them, man, because you know I saw we was homeboys and down to come up.
For sure.
And I bought them as support.
Good.
You know.
That's good.
What's next, man? What other films do you
What's
have?
next, man? Next up, we coming with We Was Homeboys 2. We actually in production on that now. Ice Revenge. And then we coming back with the Help Me Rhonda joint, man. The Help Me Rhonda's gonna be real dope.
Man, you know, with the ending of we was homeboys.
Yeah.
Was that like a play on the whole ending of Ain't No Sunshine when he shot it out at the end?
Yeah, man. You know what, man? I'm glad that you was able to see that, man, because that's really kind of the same story. Yeah, that's kind of really
It's the story played out.
Yeah. That's dope. I ain't want to call it Ain't No Sunshine, just to flip it up a little bit, but it's still basically the same story.
So Troy, for this second stage of your career, what's the focus, man? Like what's left to accomplish?
Man, I'm still trying to figure out my damn stuff.
Hey,
you feel me, man? One thing I do, man, is don't stop. You know what I mean? I just go, man. I want to keep going so far. I just leave, what they say, leave it all on the field. Leave it all on the field. When it's all said and done, man, it's going to be for y'all to say what this boy did in this thing, man. And I'm cool.
Troy, it's 25 years, man. What would you say to yourself now that you wish you would have known back 25 years earlier?
25 years earlier, man. It ain't too much that I would tell myself differently, because the experiences from the beginning to now made me who I am. You feel me, man? So if I would have changed something earlier, would I be experiencing this? You know?
Troy, it's an honor, bro. Being able to talk with you, man. At the 25th,
God
man.
bless y'all, man. We doing this big, man. One of the best interviews, man, that I had in a long time, man. God bless y'all, boys. I respect it. Peace.